Another day, another Arizona Cardinal defeat. Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals post-game show here at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, a Wild Horse Pass, brought to you by our friends at Four Peaks Brewery. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's the playmaker, Brittan. We're going to be joined by Bo Brack later in the program, live from Glendale at State Farm Stadium. But Brittan, final score, I don't think indicated how lopsided this game got in the third and fourth quarter. The Arizona Cardinals fall to Baltimore 31-24. It is their fourth straight loss. They have a mere 5 wins in the last calendar plus year. Just 1 win in the Jonathan Gannon era thus far. Where do you want to start, my friend?
I don't know where to start, man.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, you want to believe that there was hope with those last couple of drives, but it's garbage time statistics.
It is.
I mean, the throw to Hollywood Brown was actually tremendous in the back of the end zone.
Yeah.
But for anybody to be like, oh, yeah, no, do that in the first 3 quarters.
It almost felt like the pressure was off for Josh Dobbs, so he could just kind of go out there. Yeah. Garbage time throws. Dobbs, not good again today. I know the statistics probably lend itself to a little bit better, although 25 completions for 208 yards is pretty bad. 77 quarterback rating, 2 touchdowns, but it was the 2 interceptions that sunk the Cardinals before those touchdowns. Dobbs, I was an advocate in Dobbs. I knew they wanted to bring him in last spring. They brought him in. He's the perfect kind of 2 to 3 game backup. That's why guys are backups in the NFL. The more tape the league has gotten on Joshua Dobbs, the more uncomfortable he's been. He's been exposed, frankly. I mean, we're not going to dance around this point. He's been really bad for about 4 games, for about a quarter of this season. And the Arizona Cardinals, the tough part is they're going to ask their fans to endure at least 1 more week of this. They're planning, I can tell you right now, the plan right now is to start Joshua Dobbs next week against the Cleveland Browns, who, I mean, they have a great defense. This is Dobbs' former team that he spent all offseason with. They do not plan on starting Kyler Murray next week in Cleveland.
No, I'm sure they don't. But, I mean, it's one of those things where does that jump into the picture now? Like with stuff like this? I mean, if it's either in my head, I'm either saying this. I either jump up and start Kyler Murray next week or I just give Clayton Tune an opportunity. Because, I mean, it's when you dig yourself in such a deep hole in the first half with just poor play, bad throws, you turn the ball over before halftime with an awful throw when you have an opportunity to go into halftime up 14-7, up 10-7. You're moving the ball. When you do stuff like that and it's over and it's over and it's over, and we've seen it the last 3 to 4 weeks in a row, it's just give Tune. Obviously, it can't get any worse for the fans or people watch this game. Put Tune in the game.
14-7 late in the third quarter. Cardinals get a nice stop defensively, and then there's about 1 minute left, and the Cardinals are deep within their own territory. Dobbs on first down rolls out unabated and throws just a horrific interception. I mean, this team, when they were competitive offensively, did not turn the ball over. When they were basically competitive as a whole earlier this year, Dobbs was not turning the ball over. I think he went like 3 or 4 games without an interception, and you knew that wasn't sustainable, but the shoe has fallen so far off the other foot now. We're at the point where, his play is detrimental to the rest of the team. He's not only holding the offense back, he is putting the defense in a position where they're on the field the entire game. Special teams are abated by. Everybody feels the brunt of the quarterback play. And again, it's going to seem like we're coming after Joshua Dobbs today. That's not the case at all. It's unfair for him to be put in this position. The Cardinals, they went about this rebuild. They stripped it down, but then they also said, we're going to have to find a quarterback for half the season to get us to Kyler Murray. And, all actuality, like Joshua Dobbs, to me, he's run out of gas. They needed a better contingency plan because the minute you started to see cracks in the foundation, BG, with this signal caller, you need to be able to pivot to something other than a fifth-round rookie.
No, I totally agree. And it's to the point where I know everybody that was at that game, that was at home. It's such a frustrating time to be an Arizona Cardinals fan because it just feels like it can't get any worse, and then it gets worse.
Yeah.
And it's it's tough to watch. But like I said earlier, then you see it's a minute left in the game. You somehow get down there, you make a good throw, you get a touchdown pass, and then all of a sudden you get an onside kick, probably the only onside kick that'll get recovered all season long.
And it really means
right?
nothing.
Yeah, it means nothing. I mean, the fact that you go down, you get the field goal out of it, but even that field goal part, I thought the time management on that, like the pass to McBride, hell of a catch, by the way.
Yeah.
Pass to McBride, but then he gets up and he celebrates. Bud, I know you're young, and it's just maybe your welcome to the NFL moment, but when there's under a minute left in the game that you're trying to find a way to score to get the ball back again, get your ass up, put the ball down, and get it spiked or do something. You can't fucking celebrate when you're down like that and trying to make a move to score points. I mean, you did that with BA, you might not have a job the next day.
You'd be cut, maybe.
That'd be done.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, just about a lot of mistakes, but the quarterback play is just it's not pretty.
Let's get to some of these super chats if we could. You guys are crushing it. Like this video. Let's get this video to 200 likes. Brandon in the chat, friend of the program, $4.99. What hurts the most is we'd have a winning season with better quarterback play, rebuild aside. I think, conservatively speaking, 1-7 is probably 4-4 with Kyler Murray. Do you agree with that?
I would agree. Let's think about it. Commanders game is a win. The Giants game is a win. We beat the Cowboys.
And then I think you definitely beat Seattle last week.
I think Seattle and Cincinnati are both games that
winnable.
Yeah, very winnable. So I mean, you're looking at a 5-win season if you have competent quarterback play back there.
Alex, $9.99. Thank you so much, Alex. Tired of the tease, tired of the uncertainty. Don't play around with Kyo's availability. Tell us he's not playing. He's playing. Enough of we'll see competitive advantage bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a second, Brittan, because that was a point of contention all week on PHNX Cardinals with Bo and I. We try to be transparent with the people. I'm going to tell you right now, the plan is to not play him next week. They don't want to play him. They want to bring him back against Atlanta. Now, that might change after today, fourth quarter aside with Joshua Dobbs. But the way they kind of teased it, and I'll put some ownership on the Cardinals and their social media team and some of their personalities over there doing some eyeball emojis. It's just like that place today, and I hate seeing this, was a ghost town. A ghost town 2 days before Halloween. State Farm Stadium had cobwebs all over it because people thought Kyler Murray was going to play. The team pulled the rug out from under them. They said, I'm going to hold off on watching Joshua Dobbs, and I'm going to do something else with my Sunday. I'm going to watch it on TV. People are anxiously awaiting K1's return. Don't fuck with them like they did this week. You can't fuck with people and their money.
No, especially in that point. Like when they're spending their hard-earned money to go watch a game and they've seen it all week, he's practicing full right now. He's doing everything right.
No injury designation.
No injury, and then Friday he's doubtful. It's like
Friday afternoon.
Yeah, late Friday.
Gannon at a press conference Friday morning said
late Friday.
We'll see if he plays. I mean, I think people thought at the least he'd be questionable, but man, the gamesmanship, I think we all agree, and I like Gannon, was a little bit kind of misguided. Ravens are a big boy franchise. Like, they're not going to be swayed between Dobbs and maybe Kyler Murray coming back.
No, but, I mean, like everybody's even thinking and saying, you realize, like, the defense kept Baltimore really out of this game.
Yeah. They played
Lamar
well enough to
Jackson
win.
did not have a lot. He did not have a game that was like, oh, Lamar Jackson's back in that MVP stand. The defense kept him in the pocket for the most of the game. They kept him in check. He didn't throw the ball crazy today.
Yep.
They didn't run the ball crazy today. And you don't put – I mean, the 2 turnovers, they were awful, but –
there were plays to be made offensively. People wide open. And, again, we're going to keep coming back to the quarterback because it's sinking this team right now. And in a lot – like the Cardinals have the worst record in the NFL. I kind of bury the lead. They right now, because they played one more game and they've lost one more game than Carolina, are 1-7. That's the worst record in the league. And they have the number 1 pick right now. Now, I don't think that's sustainable because you've got K1 waiting in the wings. But that's the reality of the situation. We have reached the midway point of the season. We're 8 games in. It's a 17-game season, so you almost cut it in half. Cardinals are the worst team in the NFL. And that's because, in large part, the defense struggled early. Transition. The defense has figured it out like I thought we all assumed it would under Gannon. but the quarterback has regressed to the point where it's almost unwatchable. Let's get to some more of these super chats, BG. Bior, $1.99. We need a fired up Brittan Golden rant right now. Well, I think you gave us some of that on the time management piece. Anything else that pisses you off about this game?
I don't know. Play calling sucks. Execution of the quarterback position sucks.
Nice.
I mean, it's just little things. It's little minor things that should not be a problem 8 weeks into the season, whether you have a backup quarterback in there or not. Because we've seen backup quarterbacks in this league come in and manage game properly and win games. I mean, hell, Brock Purdy did it for 8 games last year. He doesn't look the same this year, but it's you. There's capable backup. PJ Walker. I mean, they should have beat Seattle today.
Yep.
And you've got guys that can do it. I don't think that there's continuity between quarterback and coach right now, and OC. I don't think they have it.
Somebody in the chat, because I said almost unwatchable, he says it is unwatchable. I'm trying to be nice here, because we're gonna be sitting here in 2 weeks doing a post game of Kyler Murray's first start back, so there's light at the end of the tunnel. But this team, I mean, they are. You don't want to say they're conceding, but at any point you're starting a team with these kind of limitations, and you're choosing to continue to play Joshua Dobbs. It feels like to the fan base you're conceding, and it's going to feel like you're conceding to everybody outside of the Valley that's got a target on this franchise's back, saying they're going to move off of Kyler Murray, they're going to trade him, they're going to cut him, whatever, they're going to take a quarterback. And, we know that they want to play Kyler and they want it to work out, but, I mean, the longer this goes and the losses that continue to mount, it's going to be harder and harder for the players in the locker room, BG, to ignore that noise that's coming out.
No, and it is. And trust me, I mean, that thing hits when you are losing like that. When you're on an organization and you go into work every week and you're 1-6, you are 1-7, you are 1-8, and it comes back and forth, that starts to weigh on you.
Yeah.
In my rookie year, I was on a Jacksonville Jaguars team for 2 weeks on the practice squad. They were 2-14. Right, that locker room, half those guys didn't even want to be there for practice during the week.
Yeah.
And it weighs. And even your players that have been in the league and they're good, they're leaders, they know it. It weighs on everybody, especially at defense. You got guys with Budda Baker and guys like this on that defense that are making crazy plays. Budda flew around the field today.
Fantastic.
And he gets zero help out of that.
Yep.
He has a great game in the defensive backfield, and his offense can't do anything to help him out. That right there is going to weigh on you eventually. So it's just I don't know. To me, I'd be frustrated as hell.
Yeah, especially I put this on Twitter. Can you imagine Hollywood Brown and Michael Wilson and Trey McBride and these guys watch Kyler Murray rip it up during practice? Kyler had a great week of practice, did surprisingly well, was, quote, ahead of schedule, and then they're starting Joshua Dobbs this weekend. And Kyler, and it's not an issue of his knees not responding well to treatment and he's not healthy. It's just they want to give him more time. Well, if I'm Hollywood Brown, it's I only have this much time to make my money.
I'm about to say, I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to get a paycheck right now, and you are not giving me opportunities to do this.
Oh, my goodness. Victor Fleming, Stank Farm Stadium.
It's about what it is.
Oh, my goodness. You hate to see it, and I think, again, people are going to be chomping at the bit to get those Atlanta tickets for obvious reasons. Let's get to some more of these super chats here. Like this video, guys. I can't emphasize that enough. That helps us. Like us, leave a comment down below. It helps move the video around. We appreciate you all. Nightingale Sunset, $2 friend of the program. Hail car, give first over, sell that. I don't know what. I'm not really sure what that means.
I don't know what it means.
Thank you for the comment, the super chat.
I appreciate it.
Dylan Richards, $1.99. Onside could have meant something. 2-point call was awful. It was
Agreed.
awful. They had the penalty before them, but I mean at that point too, we talked about it. Empty calories from Dobbs.
Yeah.
We were never going to come up here and be like, oh, other broadcast companies and other entities that cover this team will go on post-game shows today and say, look at Dobbs. He responded in the fourth quarter. He made some throws, blah, 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 and 2-to-2 touchdown interception ratio or 1-to-1 or whatever. No, Dobbs was fucking terrible. That was prevent defense by the Ravens. The Ravens sat back and then just tried to run out of State Farm Stadium.
Just playing not to lose.
Right.
And it's one of those where, yes, you get the 2-point conversion there. It's a whole different ballgame. You down 8, and then you get the onside kick. The play call was atrocious. Yes, the hold hurt. The hold was bad. It hurts you. But then your next 2-point conversion play call, you throw the ball to the 10-yard line on a 2-point conversion.
They're terrified to let Dobbs throw beyond 10 yards right now.
Dobbs is terrified to throw beyond 10 yards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because when he does, it's a bad throw into – I mean, that rollout today, I don't even know who he's throwing it to.
No. It was brutal. More super chats are not brutal. You guys are crushing it today as we're going to do these next two. Then we're going to tell you who our player of the game was. Momo Murray, we need him. We need a little Momo Murray. $1.99. I love the D-backs jersey, BG. That's the only highlight from today, apparently.
Well, it's the only one. I mean, besides the Suns. The Suns just started, but at least the D-backs are doing something that gets the Valley pumped.
Man, like, thank God for the Diamondbacks and the Phoenix Suns right now. Kyler's going to reinvigorate this franchise in 2 weeks, but we got to wait 2 weeks. Trevor, $1.99. Please give Toon some reps. Nothing to lose at 1-7. I think twofold. If Toon was better, they'd play him. He's not better. They see him in practice. Also, like, you're not going to start Toon against the number one defense in the NFL next week. And their window to start Clayton Toon, BG, it's gone.
It's gone.
That would have had to have been a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we were, especially early on, we were advocating for Josh Dobbs heavily just because we saw some light at the end of the tunnel, at the end of a couple of those games. But, if you were going to put Toon in, it would have been 3 or 4 games, at least 3 games ago. And now, I mean, putting him in against Cleveland is just a disaster. That's just setting him up for failure. I mean, I agree, though. I mean, honestly, I'm tired of looking at Dobbs play, too. If you're going to do it, just do it because it can't get any worse. But from a player's point of view, coming from me, I think that if you put a Clayton Toon in a situation like going to see Myles Garrett next week for your first NFL start, I don't think that's good for – it'll be bad for his because if it goes wrong, now you've got a rookie, 5th-round rookie, and he thinks it's over for him now because he doesn't compete. He didn't do well against a good team, so – we're just in shit till Kyler comes back.
Somebody tried to pull us out of the shit today. It was the second-year tight end out of Colorado State. How about our player of the game, X Factor, Trey McBride? 10 catches, 95 yards, a touchdown. Better than Zach Ertz, yes, but that's not the conversation I want to have today. The conversation is Trey McBride, even with Joshua Dobbs, I know he had the one drop and he was pounding his helmet, looks like a legitimate starting NFL tight end with plus receiving capabilities. BG, this looks like a piece that the Cardinals are going to be able to invest in long term.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's athletic. He can catch the ball. He had the drop today. Yes, it was bad, but it's all right. Everybody drops it once. But yes, he's got a great skill set.
Yeah,
he's very athletic. He can catch the ball, like I said, and he showed it today. I mean, 10 catches. That's big for anybody. And from a tight end, and he produced with it. It's 9.5 yards a catch. I'm not good at math, but I can read, the easy stuff. But, it's what you want to see out of your tight end. It's positive stuff. And, you got to hope you can keep it going forward. Now you're going to need competent play at quarterback.
Yeah.
But that's an outlet that I feel like Dobbs should be leaning on heavily.
Yeah.
If you're scared to push it downfield, find him. Get it out quick. Don't make him wait for it. If he's 8-10 yards down, drop it in there and get a first down.
Look at that. I mean, to me, he can sleepwalk his way in this offense, assuming they get above average quarterback play at some point to like 600-plus yards a year. I mean, that's really good numbers for a Cardinal tight end group historically that has been abysmal. I mean, Ertz was setting the world on fire, 29, 30 years old when he got here. Like, McBride is their true kind of diamond. That's why we were fired up when they drafted him, that early 20s, a guy that can really ascend as a player and as a target here. And, as frustrating as this season is, and we talk about clarity, they want to know, okay, is Hollywood worth re-signing? Is Trey McBride tight end 1 so we don't need, God forbid, a Brock Bowers at the top of the draft, right? What can we do with Michael Wilson? Is he a complement? Is he a 1A? Is he a 1B? And I think you're getting a lot of those answers, a lot of the questions answered for some of these guys. But then, of course, like we talked about on the pregame show, Hollywood Brown is not going to be dealt, per reports Diana Rossini at The Athletic, ahead of Tuesday's trade deadline. So it's like, okay, they're going to keep Hollywood Brown, I think, in large part to help Kyler when he comes back. But, do you resign Hollywood Brown? What's this receiving core look like? Is this receiving core, as it's currently constructed, Michael, Hollywood, Trey McBride, is that good enough to be your main 3 entering 2024, in your opinion? Have you seen enough?
I don't think you can even really judge based on what you've seen so far.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Hollywood is a dynamic football player. Mm-hmm. And with a guy, when he can get the ball in his hands, he can definitely be a number 1 for you. But what we've seen so far is, as a GM or somebody that's trying to say, I want to pay this guy $15 to $20 million a year, I can't make that decision based off what I've seen so far because, one, he hasn't got the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And when he does, he makes plays. But, half the time it's a slant route that gets him 5 yards when he's got to get 25, and the entire defense is tackling as soon as he catches it, or it's just bad throwing. So it's you really need to see production out of Hollywood, but that's going to come with quarterback play. So I feel like between those three, you can move forward.
Yeah.
Now I still believe that you need another high profile receiver to come in here.
Yeah.
Right. Which, determine, based on what we've seen so far, we're looking at a top 3 pick. So, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be alive, which that's a generation of talent that can come in here and start right away and be good.
Yeah.
Right. But what we've seen from Hollywood and Michael Wilson, we see the flashes. We see the flashes of talent that can be there when the ball is being able to be distributed to them, which we just haven't seen that part.
So we have some breaking news. We broke this on the pregame show. We've been talking about it. But I think this is fascinating, BG, because we talked about the fact that the Cardinals played with the emotions of the fan base in trying to get a competitive advantage with Baltimore this week. They did not name Josh Dobbs the starter for this week until late, right? Well, Jonathan Gannon just took to the post-game press conference and confirmed that Dobbs would start next week against Cleveland, and was asked, is he going to play? This is from our own Bo Brack at PHNX Cardinals. Is Kyler Murray going to start against Atlanta? He said, we'll see. Now, we know they plan to start him against Atlanta, but it is fascinating. They're not going to try these kind of cockamamie shenanigans all week with Cleveland. They have come out and said, we're going to start Josh Dobbs. This is what I'm reading through the tweets here and text messages from Bo Brack, that Dobbs is going to be the guy at least for one more week. So I wonder if that's the admission of, we might have made a mistake here.
Yeah, well, I haven't liked the way he's approached the quarterback and the starter in this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know who's going to start yet. Yes, we do. You do. And this is the NFL.
Yeah.
You're not getting a competitive advantage saying, especially when they're all backups.
Yeah.
When we don't know who's going to start yet at quarterback. There's nothing competitive about that. The only advantage you have is nobody's ever seen this guy play before.
Yep.
Right? So at this point in the season, we have all the film you need on Josh Dobbs by now. And all you have to do is go back and look at Kyler's film from the last few years. So you know the two of them have. And obviously we know, since they've already come out, they're not going to start Tune next week. So you have all the film in the world on the two guys you have. Just come out and say it, which I get what he's saying today, but we knew that Dobbs was going to start next week.
Yeah.
It's not that you didn't break any news to us. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, and something just feels a little gross and disingenuous. They want people to come out to State Farm Stadium. They want the team to be supported. There's probably a little bit of a little brother mantra with what's going on with this team and the Phoenix Suns. And then they're like kind of teasing Kyler could play all week, and then he doesn't. And then you're very emphatic that he's not playing against Cleveland and that Dobbs is your starter. Like, I like a lot of what this team and this new regime has done. They probably want a hot mulligan for how this week has gone. Like, just be upfront with this fan base saying, Kyler's healthy, looks fantastic. He needs more time in practice before we can operate a game for 4 quarters. Please understand that. And, like, people will be pissed and they'll be frustrated, but at least they'll feel like there's some honesty, correlated with that. What went on this week was, I would say, borderline dishonest by the Cardinals, and, even vehemently, strong team support. Like, we're big supporters of the Arizona Cardinals, but people that I see that, wave the pom-poms 99% of the time for this franchise on the Twitter streets are kind of scoffing at how they acted this week. And so, I'm glad now there's kind of admission of, Dobbs is our guy. We got one more week of this. Can everybody just sit tight? We got to go to Cleveland. We got to get that game. I don't want to say get it over with. But we have to play that game. And then Kyler Murray's, he didn't say this, but we know Kyler Murray's going to start Week 10 against Atlanta.
Yeah, well, we would really hope so.
Yes.
We're praying.
Barring something unforeseen.
We're praying.
Yeah.
But, barring anything, that happens outside of that, I feel like, yes, Kyler starts in Atlanta. It's a home game. You obviously don't want to have his first game starting on the road, especially coming off of that, especially against a top 3 defense in the NFL right now. But, I wouldn't be mad at it.
No.
To be honest with you. Because, honestly, I feel like not completely ready, Kyler Murray, playbook-wise. Now, if he's not mentally there or physically there, obviously, yes, no, don't. But
he did push to play today.
If it's something that's just like, we just want it to be a home game, it's to the point where, listen, Kyler Murray not knowing the complete part of this offense is definitely better than Josh Dobbs going out there right now and playing.
I think you are speaking for 100% of this fan base. I'm going to speak for everybody. I know that when I say BetMGM is the place to be when you want to dabble, get $200 back free. Dabble with $10 on the BetMGM Sportsbook app on your mobile device, smartphone, or on your desktop, betmgm.com. $10. It's going to net you $200 regardless of your wager's outcome. You put a little scratch on the Chicago Bears tonight. Big underdog against the Chargers. Well, your bet loses $200 in bonus bets. Is going to be sitting ready for you to spend with our friends at BetMGM. Again, sign up with BetMGM. Bonus code PHNX. My picks today, not great. I had the Hollywood Brown first touchdown. Turns out he scored the last touchdown of the day. That was plus 1,400. I also had the under. That didn't hit. That wasn't good. Mark Andrews, though, did hit over 54.5 yards. So 1 for 3 today. I've had better afternoons.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than last week.
It was when I went over. I also live bet in a parlay Washington and Carolina. I got too cute. I knew the Panthers were going to win this week. I said that on Wednesday's show. And then I saw, Washington's playing pretty well. I get plus money on them. That was stupid. Don't be dumb. Go like me. Go to BetMGM. Get $200 instantly with a $10 bet. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to our guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
On games like today, where I had to watch real incompetence from the quarterback position, I tend to drown my sorrows in a couple different things. Pizza, maybe some ice-cold fountain drinks, maybe some tasty snacks, all from our friends at Circle K. And you're thinking, Johnny, what's Circle K have to offer? A ton. Be part of their exclusive Inner Circle now. It is for free, but it is available by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply. The new membership program is fantastic. Get every 6 free on a selection of Circle K products. 25 cents per gallon save on your first 5 fill-ups. Cheapest gas anywhere that I find in my hometown of Chandler. And then take an additional 25 cents off of that. Hells yeah. Love our friends at Circle K. Terms and conditions apply. Participating locations do vary. Check them out, circlek.com/store-locator. to find the nearest Circle K to you. I'm going to find the nearest Super Chats to me because you guys are absolutely crushing it here. BG, Sean, $4.99. I'm in Ireland. Please tell me at some point the late nights will be worth it. Can you tell them to stay up next week?
I don't know about next week, big fella. Maybe 2 weeks. Maybe 2 weeks. I'm ready for you.
All right. You know what? Just caffeinate it up. Do they have Circle K in Ireland? They may. I don't know. Go get a coffee from Circle K. They do. They absolutely do. Wow. Perfect transition there. Milwaukee Braves, friend of the program, highly generous. $19.99 Super Chat. Thank you so much, Milwaukee Braves. Greatly appreciate that. These officials seem to get worse by the week. Done with Dobbs. Too many mental mistakes. 2 interceptions were totally head-scratching, and the play calling needs to be better. The 2-point conversion call, unreal. I agree with all that. We've touched on a lot of it. The officiating, though, Brittan, I hate being the guy coming up here and saying, officials, you're bad, and that's why we lost the game. It's not why the Cardinals lost, but they weren't helped by the officials today.
No, and the moving the ball, that one blew my mind.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
You spot the ball, and then you measure it, and then you move it back. Oh no, they definitely didn't get it because we moved it back a yard. I was completely off on that. I mean, and it's around the league. There has been some really, really blatantly missed calls around the league this year that have just seemed to have gotten worse in all games.
Yeah,
but. I mean, there's not much we can do other than, maybe they'll hire some younger referees. I feel like some of these guys are 75 years old trying to see something that they can't see. But that's one of those things you can't blame it. You can't blame it on the referees.
Yeah,
I know that. I've tried to do it forever in my career. But you can't blame them for the loss because obviously there was a lot of factors that we did not, do ourselves. There's a lot of stuff we didn't do, a lot of little things we didn't do that ultimately cost us the football game.
It was brutal, absolutely brutal from the officiating in the first half. Let's get to some more of these Super Chats. You guys are crushing it. Like this video again, trying to get to 200 likes on this post-game show. Eric, $2. Call BG suit up. Can BG suit up? My bad, Eric. Could have used you today. Could you help the team maybe on punt returns? No Greg Dortch today. You've housed a couple punt returns in your day.
I don't know about that, man. BG's getting a little slow.
You should see this guy. If you don't follow Brittan on Instagram, he's getting after it like he still plays, man. And you've been in the lab constantly. What are you doing? Is that all for show?
I mean, it's for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know. I'm getting too old to even think about contemplating coming out of retirement. But
man.
you know, I do. I run routes every now and then too. I have some fun, but I keep it low. I mean, ain't nothing over 15 yards. That's just too deep. That's a hamstring waiting to happen.
That's Joshua Dobbs territory. Perfect. 15 yards. You absolutely love to see that. Let's count some cards today. No Brittan Golden on the field today, but some other standouts. Absolutely. Counting cards. Dante Stills was almost our player of the game today. Rookie sensation. This has gone from a nice story to, oh, shit, this guy's probably a full-time player next year. 1.5 sacks, the 6th-rounder out of West Virginia. Disruptive. He is easily, BG, their best defensive lineman right now.
No, he's done real well. And pairing him with Jonathan Ledbetter as well, he's played really well in the trenches too. So having two guys down there in the middle like that, and bigger guys, right? You can plug holes, you can stop the run a little well, but he's done well in the last few weeks, especially the last couple of weeks.
Really impressed with that. You should be impressed with this. How about rookie duos here? B.J. Ojulari smoking Ronnie Stanley for a sack. Like, is B.J. Ojulari, is the light bulb starting to come on? Because I'll tell you what, would be a hell of a development. Paris Johnson Jr., Michael Wilson, Garrett Williams, Dante Stills, now B.J. Ojulari. DeMercado's an undrafted rookie. It's like, no one wants to hear, like, moral victories or small victories.
No, but
the Cardinals are at least not losing with young players. Trey McBride, 95 yards today. Like, they got some young talent on the team.
It's good to see Ojulari back in the picture because we were a little worried the first few weeks during the season. But it was good to see him get out there. He looked in shape today.
Yeah.
He looked like he was ready to play football today.
It just took him, he missed the offseason. We'll be fair with him. He had an injury that they had to clean up, as JG said, in the spring. So he was behind the 8 ball. He's played himself into shape. Let's see him have a handful of sacks in the second half. And then Jalen Thompson. I mean, he and Budda Baker were fantastic today.
Everywhere.
I'll put JT on the list, coming back from injury, laying the wood on people. He's a tremendous open field tackler, BG. A couple tackles, a tackle for loss, a pass defended. Cardinals need a lot of stuff. They don't need a safety.
No. I think they've got safety covered. I think they're doing well back there. Now, corner, on the other hand, is a top priority.
Yeah. We got some problems. We got some big problems. I think we're working on getting Gannon from the presser for the show. I'll let you guys know when that is available. But, yeah, man, the Cardinals, to me, I think we're going to be able to look back after this season's over, and if you're able to check the biggest box, which is certainty at quarterback in Kyler Murray, the thing that I always used to despise about this franchise, like really despise, is they would win 4, 5, 6 games, and they would lose without young players. They would lose with old players. And it's like, where are we getting momentum, right? We want to feel momentum. You want to give people hope. And it's like, at least, and Gannon and company, they had some shortcomings this week that I think that attest to privately. They're putting young players out there, for better or worse. Like Owen Pampo had the recovery on the onside kick. We just mentioned all those defensive stalwarts now. Like, they're giving these young players every opportunity, and then you think about all the draft capital and all the money and all the resources this offseason. These guys that are getting reps now, like, they're going to be a part of the team in 2024. And for so long under Arizona Cardinal football with Rod Graves and Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury, like, this franchise would say, no, we're going to lose with guys, and then these guys aren't actually part of our future, so we're restarting in the next year. No,
and it was. There was a time, when I was here that they were not so much of trying to find things in the draft as they were trying to find, a diamond in the rough in free agency.
Yep.
But the positive thing for the Cardinals right now is you have young players that are showing that they can play in this league. And they're making plays now. They're making plays early. So that gives you a little bit of hope for the future. But I've seen it in the chat too. You've got to find a way to get elite talent in this building for next season.
Yep.
Because there's some of these games we are losing because we don't have the talent to compete at certain positions. I'm not going to say around the entire team because we've certainly got 2 safeties that can compete with anything.
Yeah.
Right, and we've got guys on the offensive line. We've got guys in the backfield with James Conner, who will be back in a couple weeks. We've got guys that can do it, that are elite, but we need more. You need more of those guys on offense and on defense to make these the plays and the veteran plays that some of these young guys don't know about yet.
Yeah, I mean, like the oldest players on the team right now, you would assume probably are maybe on borrowed time. Like Zach Ertz is on injured reserve. Will he be back? James Conner on injured reserve. He's due a lot of money. Will he be back? DJ Humphries, right, who was better today.
Much better
today. He was better today. Like, can he string a couple more quality performances, the last 2 months of the season before they are maybe poised with an opportunity to take a top tackle in the top 10? So, again, like, it's promising because you can see it, right? You can see it with Trey McBride and Michael Wilson and these younger defensive players. Dante Stills, again, has been a revelation on the defensive line, a position they so very much needed to develop. But to your point, it's like Garrett Williams, solid today in the slot. They do not have a CB1 outside alpha corner on the roster.
No, they do not. And that's something that in this league now, in the day and age we are in the NFL, you have to have competent corners out there because everybody throws the ball now.
Yeah.
This isn't the 80s and 70s and not even the 90s when it was we're handing the ball off 45 times a game, stop the run. No, we're throwing the ball. Even your backup quarterbacks that are starting the game are throwing the ball 30 to 40 times a game.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to have but you have got to have people like a Jalen Ramsey or, when I was here, we had Patrick Peterson and Gerard Powers and guys like that. We had competence. We had good players playing corner, which, I mean, they were the no-fly zone for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Seattle. Seattle had the Legion of Boom. You had guys like that. When you have a good secondary, it definitely helps. And then you can add, when you have a good front seven, it helps that secondary. Now, can you imagine when your entire defense is elite?
Yeah.
You got a front seven that's elite and a back four that's elite. It changes games. So, I mean, obviously, whatever happens the rest of the season happens. I hope that they make some good moves in the trade before the trade deadline. But by next season, they've got to find ways to get elite talent in here, offensively and defensively, to make sure that they are a playoff pushing team.
Yep.
Does this, seeing Josh Dobbs' shirt, does that make you more or less mad about his performance today?
What's it say?
So
it's just a ridiculous
it's
shirt.
Blocked. I can't see.
Well, listen, I like Dobbs, and so it's going to be hard for me to critique him off the field.
Oh, you know the NFL, man. It's just like the NBA. Everybody's a fashion statement type now.
He's got an Astro, because he's
Astro
an Astro.
Dobbs, he was not Astro Dobbs. Well, his head was in Astro.
I didn't even realize. So if you watch him on the presser, it says Dobbs underneath Astro.
Yeah, his head was in space on some of those throws.
You can't rock that hat today.
No. You should have turned it backwards.
I thought that was like an actual NASA hat. Like, oh, okay, that's cool.
No,
I
do like the color scheme though. I'll give him that.
It's a branded Astro Joshua Dobbs hat that you're going to find at a Goodwill near you. Let's get to some more of these super chats here. Jalen Blair, $5, friend of the program. Secondary played well today. You think the Cardinals should go after former first-rounder Buffalo Kiar Elam if they can get him for a late day 3 pick? I think the Cardinals are going to sign a lot of players this offseason. But I would put him in the same category, BG, of like, I would love to have Montez Sweat on this team next week. I would love to have, Deron Payne and some of these other guys, Jonathan Allen, and then, of course, the gem is what's his name, the first overall pick? What Chase Young? I would love to have Chase Young. But all these guys are going to be free agents in the offseason. So if you're Gannon and us for, it's like, why am I giving you a 3 or a 4 or a 2 in some cases when I could just sign that player in March?
No, I agree with the super chat as well. The secondary played a lot better. Case in point, you have both of your all-pro starting safeties back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Jalen Thompson's been all-pro yet, but Budda Baker's definitely been an all-pro.
They're on.
And Jalen Thompson is on pace to be one of those as long as he stays healthy. When you have 2 solid safeties back there that get the job done, that allows your secondary, even when you have bad corner play, because now you have help over the top. A guy like Budda Baker can make a bad corner look decent.
Yeah.
And we saw Marco Wilson get torched again early this game. He had a bad pass interference penalty down low just because he couldn't keep up, and it was other situations with this. But having a guy like Budda Baker over the top is it helps, and it makes them look less bad.
I mean, like Lamar Jackson was 18 of 27, 157 and a touchdown today, and he didn't do anything on the ground. Like, the Cardinals got destroyed by Daniel Jones because they didn't have Budda Baker.
No.
Like, the Cardinals are getting better defensively. I know, like, the 31 points is kind of an anomaly because Joshua Dobbs essentially gave Baltimore 14 points with those 2 interceptions. The Cardinals are so limited defensively, and yet I think they're getting much, much better. So I'm really excited to see kind of the meshing of hey, Kyler Murray's going to elevate this offense by default, and then you've got, of course, this defense that's getting more and more comfortable with these young players under Gannon. Like, we should see, unlike the Cliff Kingsbury era, which got worse month after month, week after week, the best version of this team, theoretically, is the one we're going to get in December and early January. Mm-hmm. Not the one we're getting right now. Like this week and maybe next. I don't want to say it definitively because they could get like P.J. Walker. But like right now, what we're living in, this should be the worst of it right now today.
You would hope.
And we should be able to stiff arm it, LaDainian Tomlinson style, and move into November and December. Kyler Murray and a defense that has its footing and is getting better. Now, maybe it doesn't go as planned, but like I'm sure that's what they're thinking, BG. They're thinking to themselves like, yeah, everybody wants to rip the Band-Aid off. We just have to endure just a little bit longer, Cardinal fans. And I'm okay with that if there wasn't this big dog and pony show this week. That left a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah. But it's clear based on Gannon's comments, like they're preparing everybody. One more week of Joshua Dobbs. Can everybody suck it up like it's preseason? And then you get Kyler Murray week 10.
And it is a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask of a fan base that is just, I mean, how many wins they got in the last year?
5.
At home?
At home?
2?
2.
Yeah.
They beat the Cowboys and the Saints. They've won twice in the last year at Saints.
It's a lot to ask of a fan base. And I know it's frustrating. I mean, we're all frustrated.
Yeah.
But, you know, you have to try to believe that in 2 weeks it all gets better.
I mean, that's I made a video about it. It's Johnny on the Spot at PHNX Sports. It's just like Kyler Murray is going to be walking into such unrealistic, unprecedented, circumstances, expectations. The Cardinals have the first pick right now, and subsequently, if they have the first pick, like I feel comfortable saying this, they're going to take Caleb Williams. So if Kyler Murray wins games, that problem takes care of itself. If the team continues to not play well, even with Kyler in the lineup, which I think is a stretch. I think he's going to elevate them considerably. But if that happens, like we're going to have uncomfortable conversations in January, and this team's going to be very vague in their commitment level. But again, Kyler Murray will have 8 games. When he plays against the Atlanta Falcons, he'll get a Houston, he'll get a Chicago, he'll get a Pittsburgh, he'll get these beatable teams. He's got to win 2, 3, 4 of those games to get them up out of any consideration. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there are teams in the NFL, Brittan, that look like shit this first half that are going to win games in the second half they're not supposed to. You know, we saw the Panthers win today. Do they turn it on defensively? We've seen how bad the Giants have been, but they look like they're a better team, albeit with Tyrod Taylor, who did get injured today. Like, the Patriots showed some more life. The Broncos keep winning. Like, the Cardinals are going to need to keep pace. Otherwise, I mean, like, you see where they're picking. That's where they're going to stick. Stick and pick, man.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, the crazy part is if Kyler Murray comes back and they still don't win, yes, you still have that. But as long as he plays well, I think you have to stick with that one. I mean, you can do the whole where I'm going to get Caleb Williams thing, but I don't see it.
Well, I know that they don't want to do that.
No, they don't want to go get a new quarterback.
No.
They've got faith in what they have, but it's one of those things where, as a Cardinal fan, when you come back, you've got to play exceptional.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it is a lot of pressure you're putting on Kyler Murray, but you paid him $230 million. That's the pressure you have to expect when you get paid $200 million. So, yes, the expectations are almost unrealistic, what he's got to come back in.
Yeah.
But, you know, he's got to produce. He's got to find a way to win games.
Yep, that's the NFL. This is Jonathan Gannon just moments ago at the press conference talking about his quarterback situation.
Good, you know what I mean? It's the NFL. You make plays, you don't make plays. We just got to work to stay consistent and make sure that, you know, we're doing the right things, taking care of the football, and producing at a high level. Yeah.
So, again, Gannon talking about Joshua Dobbs not making plays and kind of making plays toward the end there. A little bit vague. I mean, JG's a vague guy. I think that's what we've seen him. Hopefully, Bo Brock's going to be able to shed some more light on that. We're going to talk about that and the draft implications of today and how the Cardinals have found themselves with the first overall pick. But I'm going to tell you, go find yourself at EmpireToday.com. It's the best place to get new flooring. And, of course, they have copycats, but Empire Today has the best quality, service, speed. I'm going to tell you right now, we need new flooring at my place. I know where I'm going. Empire Today. We're going to hook you up. EmpireToday.com/PHNX. Try them out. They've got speed, plus they've got service to boot. You ever have a home project that takes forever? You ever hire a contractor? 6 months later, the job's not done? That is not Empire today. They are there to take care of you. Flooring is elite. Customer service is fantastic. So, again, you're thinking new carpet, new hardwood, new tile, whatever you want to do, check them out, see what they offer. Check them out now. One of our favorite new partners, Empire, today. And speaking of new partners, so I recently upped my shoe game. I bought my first pair of Jordans. I've worn them this year. We've won one game since I bought them. So I think I pivoted off of my $30 Under Armour shoes after week 1 against the Commanders. So from the Giants forward. So we're 1-6 in these Jordans. Does that tell me that we're fortunate that I bought these because we have the one dub, or do I need to pivot now?
It might be time to buy another pair.
Okay. If I need to do that, I'm going to do that with my friends at Soul Savvy. Again, the drops and the drip from Soul Savvy via their app make it so easy to keep up. If you're a shoe junkie or if you're getting into the hobby for the first time, check them out. Latest news, releases, raffles, sales for you sneakerheads out there. They've got notifications. They've got a raffle management tool that's fantastic. Keep track of all your raffles. Plus, they've got a release date calendar. Like, I see people, and I'm jealous, like, they're on the Twitter streets, Instagram, like, they're posting, hey, I snagged these shoes. Hey, I'm waiting in line. Hey, I'm refreshing my page. You want to keep up on all that? This is where you got to be with our friends at Soul Savvy. Again, we've got so many new partners in the fold that I'm excited to talk about that we use in our downtime, in our regular life. I'm going to help you out. Download the drops. Buy Soul Savvy apps today. Keep up with the latest. Go to soulsavvy.com/PHNX or head over to the App Store and, up your shoe game today. How many pairs of shoes do you have? Did I put you on the spot?
I got a lot. I've gotten rid of a lot, though, so, hey.
What does that mean? Like donate?
Yeah, I donate a lot. And then I donate the ones that aren't worth crazy money. You know?
Okay.
They're worth money. I'm selling things.
Are you a Jordan guy, or do you like to diversify? You got are these Jordans right here?
Yeah, these are Jordans.
Okay.
I'm a Jordan guy, but I'm trying to expand, you know.
Who had the worst shoes of any professional athlete, like a basketball shoe, that you've seen?
The worst shoe?
Yeah, like I always thought.
What's his name?
Like
LeVar Ball.
Oh.
Them shits were awful.
Big Baller Brand?
They were charging $500 for some shit
any?
I could get at Payless. No.
You didn't buy any Big Baller Brand?
No.
I always thought, and like this isn't his fault, like Shaq's shoes were a little bit ridiculous. Not that the look of them was bad, but like how can me, like a 5'6.5" male, white male, rep some Shaq shoes and not get laughed at?
What you mean? They was only like $20 at Walmart.
Oh, really?
Shaq done made billions off of those shoes.
He's like hanging from the rim, and it's like, yeah, that's me. And it's like, no, bro, that ain't me. I think that's why AI did really well.
Well, it's AI.
Because he's relatable. He's a little guy like me.
He was the answer.
I need some shoes like Rondell Moore, and I need to collab on some shoes, I think.
Collab? Do what you got to do.
I think that's where we got to be headed. Where we're headed right now, we're headed to the first overall pick right now in the 2024 NFL draft. I would have said you were crazy after that Cowboys win if the Cardinals would be here. They are, though. They're 1-7. The Chicago Bears via Carolina, they're 1-6. Giants lose today. They've got 2 wins. Patriots have 2 wins, as do the Bears. They kick off here momentarily. The Packers, the Chargers. So either the Bears and the Chargers are going to move up. The Colts have been feisty. They've got 3, as do the Broncos and the Rams. But, man, the Cardinals are in a position right now. We just talked about it. They have to win games because if they don't, this Caleb Williams narrative, it is not going away. Like Caleb Williams, I did not think played particularly well over the
3
weekend.
3 weeks in a row.
But, I mean, he's still producing. And I think a lot of that has to do with Cliff Kingsbury as his offensive coordinator, quarterback coach in Southern California. So, I mean, like, here are the facts. The facts are this is a new regime, and they have a quarterback coming off ACL surgery, and he's making $52 million, and they have the first overall pick right now. Those are the facts. Then we can talk about subsequently, BG, what we hope will happen in these next 9 games, what we think will happen. The fact of the matter is they have the first pick, and as long as they have the first pick, or maybe even the second pick, they're going to be in prime position to take a quarterback. And it's like, it sucks. I don't want to have a conversation about quarterbacks again in the spring. We've done that too many times with this franchise. But like, look, there it is. There's the proof. Let's look at those draft standings one more time. There it is.
There.
You can't argue with that.
No.
They are the worst team in the NFL right now. And in a class with generational quarterbacks, like that's going to force the narrative. Now we all think the big ripcord here, Kyler Murray with the Superman cape coming to save the day. But right now, facts are facts.
No, it is. And regardless, even if they're in the top 2 when it ends, I don't think you're a quarterback. I think you just shock the world and get you a little Marvin Harrison Jr., whether you got the number 1 or number 2
I
pick.
think number 2, you can have that conversation like Larry Fitzgerald style, 1 3rd overall. If they pick 1st overall, they're going to take Caleb Williams. And I think if they pick 2nd overall, they'll strongly consider Drake May.
USC doesn't have a very good history with quarterbacks either.
They do not. They do not.
Especially the last one that got here.
That's right. Listen, a lot of things would suggest that you don't need to be doing that, but they got to win some games, man. Like, you don't want to pick 1st? You want to have this conversation forced on your fan base by the national media? Win some fucking games.
Yeah.
I'm sick of watching losing football. I don't want to talk about Caleb. Like, no one wants to talk about Caleb Williams. If you're a Cardinal fan, everybody's ready to embrace the return of Kyler Murray, the franchise quarterback, in 2 weeks. But as long as that's lingering out there, like, I love how everybody's like, no, not everybody. Some people are like, no, it'll all just get taken care of when Kyler Murray comes back. Do you know that? Like, no one can sit here and definitively tell me that a guy coming off an ACL who looks fantastic in practice can win this team enough games to push them out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like, you might get the number 1 pick if you win 3 games, if you lose 2 games. Like, it's not just assured, like, you lose out, you'll get the number 1 pick. Like, some of these other teams are going to win games.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it's all contextualized from a standpoint of what does the second half of your season look like, and can you force the issue if you're Kyler Murray?
Very sure. And that's what's going to happen. Kyler's got to come in here, and he's got to force the Cardinals' hand and say, hey, I can be your QB of the future. Yep. You know, you obviously thought I could be your QB of the future because you paid me $200+ million, but I can do it. We can move forward. We can get there. The Caleb Williams narrative for me, I don't think it's happening just because of who owner is. He don't like paying guys anyway. You know what I'm saying?
He's not going to give you. Would scoff at
he's not going to give equity. What is this? This dude, Caleb Williams, wants equity in a team or whatever he wants. He wants to.
Listen, he's not my cup of tea at all.
I just don't think that's happening here.
I'll tell you what is happening. We're joined live by our co-host here on PHNX Cardinals, our dear friend Bo Brack from the press box in Glendale State Farm Stadium. So those Jonathan Gannon comments, Bo, certainly a change of tune, so to speak, no pun intended, from this past week when it was all smoke and mirrors, Joshua Dobbs, Kyler Murray, will he or won't he play? Now it's very evident that the Cardinals are just like, yeah, everybody, can we just please endure one more week of Joshua Dobbs? He's starting next week. Is that how you took it?
Yeah, it's either that or a slip of tongue or maybe just getting way ahead of themselves as far as how they're going to diagnose this quarterback position going forward. But or maybe it's just a complete boost of trying to give confidence to the quarterback that they're going to move forward with in Joshua Dobbs. But, I mean, as of right now, if you're just taking Jonathan Gannon at face value, just basically said, yeah, Joshua Dobbs will be starter week 9 in Cleveland against the Browns.
Frustrating. I mean, again, like, you watched him play today, and we knew, we sourced it, that they want to bring back Kyler Murray against Atlanta. But, I mean, did he give you any additional insight into the offensive struggles and what they need to do potentially differently, especially against the Cleveland defense that's, top 3 in the NFL?
I mean, I think obviously taking care of the football, Joshua Dobbs said that. Paris Johnson Jr. said that. Jonathan Gannon basically said that. I mean, the 2 turnovers were the difference in this game. And, I mean, trying to take care of the football and they were +3 in the turnover battle last week and lost. They did not win the turnover battle today. It was because their quarterback made 2 tough throws. Now, we asked Joshua Dobbs, what went into those throws, what he saw. And he said exactly what we saw out there, especially with the catastrophic one before half. It was just a bad throw. And, it continually puts this Cardinals defense in a tough spot that played, relatively well throughout this entire game.
Speaking of the defense, 2 rookies continue to shine, Dante Stills, B.J. Ojulari. I think we had talked about it, Brittan. This defense has been playing better than the personnel would suggest. The defense is getting better. The offense very much feels like, a boat without a rudder, so to speak, until Kyler Murray comes back. Like, could you sense a disheartening feeling from the Cardinal locker room knowing that, like, are we going to go winless until Kyler Murray comes back? It's frustrating because we see him in practice. We see how much strides he's making, yet the team is so reluctant to play him against Cleveland. I mean, that to me feels incredibly demoralizing for guys on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. Didn't have the benefit of talking to too many defensive players in the locker room. Mostly talked to offensive guys in Paris and Hollywood Brown. And, they were encouraged, I think, with how the offense opened up. But look, I mean, the Ravens took their foot off the gas pedal on defense down the stretch. I mean, it was just basically prevent, and they were able to kind of throw the ball a little bit deeper down the field than they'd done previous to that. They weren't facing a true test as far as an NFL defense. So I don't know. I mean, I think they're just trying to pick up the pieces. They were coming off just another brutal loss. I think that they want to parlay maybe the encouraging pieces from the end of this game into something to on the road next week at Cleveland. They were able to buck some trends as far as the second half. I mean, Baltimore was a team that hadn't given up multiple touchdowns in a game since week 2. So, you can say a team seeking false silver linings or trying to make lemonade out of lemons, but the performance is what it is, and I'm on the same page as you guys. It wasn't good enough, and it put this game away, and they're scratching and clawing, and sure, you could say that's admirable, but it doesn't change what the result is at the end of the day. This team is 1-7. They're at the bottom of the NFL, and they're going to have to ask your franchise quarterback come back and do what he did with the previous regime. It's different, right? It's different. There's shades of gray here, but and he's got to do it for himself, right? He's got to put on the Superman cape for himself for his future here.
BG, it almost feels like everything that they had hoped to avoid with Kyler Murray coming back midseason with the Superman cape and saving us, like it unfortunately has landed in their lap. Like, hey, everybody said you were going to have the first pick in the draft. You do. Everybody said you're going to be the worst team. You are. Joshua Dobbs should have been here. It was a mistake to trade for him. He's struggling right now. I mean, like, you could tell this is probably not the situation they wanted to find themselves in.
No, and it's, when you start the season, you don't ever see it looking like this. Whether you're coach, GM, owner, however you say it, but they made their bed with the decisions they made to not attack free agency and to not do stuff like that, not have a solid backup running back in here. Yep. I mean, I don't remember, DeMarcado and Ingram had a really solid game today too, but not having – that solid number 2 running back, they dropped the ball on a few things. They made their bed, and right now, they're sleeping in it.
Yeah. Here's Joshua Dobbs on his interceptions as Bo Brack and company got to visit with the current quarterback 1 of the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, man, like the first one was just a bad throw. Mike ran a good route for me. I just made a bad throw, didn't hit him in stride. The second one, they got me in coverage. Corner fell off. They ended up playing a cover 2, and I was trying to get the ball to Trey on a crossing route. And so as a quarterback, man, like those were frustrating for me personally because I can't put our defense in those situations, right? Just watching the ebbs and flows of the game. I know, we had long fields to drive. Our defense was doing a tremendous job keeping the offense at bay, making them drive the field, holding them to non-explosives. And so, as the quarterback, man, you can't put the defense in that position. So that's an opportunity for me to grow. As I said, I love the fight of the team, and sticking with me, throughout those throws, man. But, yeah, I can't put the team in that position, and I could be better on those 2 plays.
Bo, did you like Joshua Dobbs' fit, most importantly? We've already broken it down here. The self-branded hat, I think, is certainly a choice today on a day where you throw multiple egregious interceptions.
I don't know if the Carlton Banks sweater with the self-branded hat is it's not a good look. No, I'm gonna pass on that. I'm not gonna cop that fit. No, folks.
No, not at all. I agree. The first one was bad. The second one, I feel like he kind of reached for an excuse with the corner falling off because he wasn't under pressure. He was rolling out, and you clearly can see that corner, even if he is in cover 2. You're looking right at him. There's nobody in front of you. Like it was 2 bad interceptions today. You can sugarcoat it all you want from your perspective, but both of those were bad interceptions. Now, am I saying I could go out there and do it? Hell no. That's why I didn't play quarterback. But it's one of those things, if you want to be branded as an NFL quarterback, those are throws you can't make. And everybody makes mistakes at quarterback. The top tier, Tom Brady made bad throws, But you can't go out there and say, oh, I know the first one was bad, but the second one, I just got – no, that wasn't it. That was a bad throw. There was really 3 guys around Trey McBride right there. Throw that thing away. Live to see another day.
But it almost feels like the Cardinals went and bought a used car that the dealership told them, hey, you got a certain amount of mileage left on this, and it's going to go bad on you. So they paid $500 for a backup a week and a half before the season started, and they play with house money for a little bit. Oh, this got me on the interstate. Oh, this helped me commute to work a couple times. And then they tried to go cross-country with it. And then they tried to get cute with it, take it camping. They tried to take it to the city a couple of times. Now they're stuck at the impound yard, and they're screwed as they await their full-time car from the dealership or whatever. But it does feel like, do you think the Cardinals were naive to think back in March, April, May that or maybe this is the plan all along, we got to get 8 games of quarterback play, and it's going to be a hodgepodge or whatever, and we don't want to invest in something other than, a marginal backup that's worth about $1 million. I mean, do you think that was really their plan?
I mean, I think we have to bring into the variable of it being an unprecedented issue, right? Where you get the keys to an organization, and if with a general manager and a head coach, that franchise quarterback is facing his most significant injury of his football career, right? And you just have to tread water. Like, how are you going to do that? Are you going to go out there? Are you going to get the Jacoby Brissett bridge? You're going to go out there, get a Gardner Minshew. Like those are the the quarterbacks people are pounding the table for. And, we'll never know, how they look. We'll see Gardner Minshew probably for the amount of games that we saw Joshua Dobbs. But there is a ceiling to that caliber of quarterback. And, you're seeing that. I think your analogy is spot on. I don't think that you're stranded on the interstate without an ability to get this car started. At least he can move the offense some way, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown as well. But when you need them the most, right? Unfortunately, your car is breaking down on you, right? It's putting you in a tough position. It's keeping you from going to work that day. It's really throwing a wrench in what you're trying to do to be successful. I mean, there's too many times now. There's too many little blemishes on his resume where against Cincinnati, and I know Zach Pascal played a role in that with the pick 6, but you're going into halftime, likely score or tied at 7-7 today, and there's a catastrophic miscue on his behalf with that overthrow of Michael Wilson. And then to make that one, to give him a 23-yard short field, like Brittan said, just shut it down, throw it out of bounds, give yourself another chance. And it's just like those errors, they can pile on each other, and it's wearing on the Arizona Cardinals that, we've talked about. Their margin for error is slim to none to almost negative.
So not a great day for the Arizona Cardinals from a draft perspective with their own pick. But what about the Houston Texans pick? So we buried the headline a little bit. Carolina wins. The team they beat is the team that the Arizona Cardinals own. Their first rounder is Houston. It's been a hot minute since we've gotten to bring out smiling Monty Ossenford via our Texans Tracker. But that's, folks, where we're at today. How about it? Arizona Cardinals now overtaking the 13th pick in the draft, pending a couple other games this weekend. So this pick has a chance, I think, to get a little higher if the Raiders were to beat the Detroit Lions and a couple other factors in play. But the bottom line is this, gentlemen. Cardinals moving up. This pick, I think, was around 16, 17 this time last week as Houston's coming off their bye. Houston looking much more fraudulent with each passing week. C.J. Stroud, no touchdowns today, getting outdueled by Bryce Young and Frank Wright's fraudulent ass kicking field goals. You absolutely love to see it. As the Cardinals have a date with destiny, which seems like a top 5 pick. That it's almost all but assured at this point. I mean, this Houston pick, gentlemen, Cardinals could have some say in this when they play Houston later this year. Could this sneak back into the top 10?
Oh, I think it could. Because, I mean, you look back at that graphic, they got to play the Buccaneers next.
Yeah, let's see it one more time, Damon.
Right? They got the Buccaneers coming back in. They got the Bengals next, and then they got the Cardinals. So you're looking at 2 potential losses coming in.
Jags are playing well.
The Jags are playing great football. Hell, Vance Joseph's defense actually looked decent today.
Don't you dare.
I'm going to tell you. I mean, you got a Jets team that's got a very solid defense. Tennessee, they got to play Tennessee twice. They could probably definitely
just
win those.
Just split there, Tennessee. Just get a split.
And then Cleveland, who's arguably a top 3 defense. I mean, Gardner Minshew ain't playing too bad over there in Indianapolis either.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of losses. I mean, you're looking at, if Tennessee splits that, you're looking at, they could lose 5 out of the last 8.
That's right. And what's nice is, too, so the Cardinals have a very difficult strength of schedule, which is going to push them down. We know Houston's schedule, it's not very good. Their strength of schedule is pretty ass. It's, I think, like 484. It's not even over 500, which means, like, if they're tied with a lot of these other kind of middling teams, they will get pushed up in the draft standings, which means Arizona's getting up there. So I think, again, not great from an on-the-field product standpoint here in 2023. We're eating a big shit sandwich. 2024's draft prospects, though, we're eating good. We got a seat at the table. We're putting away our Lunchables and our Capri Sun, and we're going, what's it called, Steak 44 or whatever it is?
There yet.
Yeah, we are. We're eating at Steak 44 today, baby. Put away the Oreo cookies and Mom's tuna fish sandwich in your lunchbox. We're going to the steakhouse tonight, baby.
I mean, what is it? It's Bucks, Bengals, Cardinals,
Bucks, Bengals,
Jags?
Cardinals, Jaguars,
I mean, losing streak.
Broncos, Jets.
Look, that strength of schedule, a lot of it is because of what happens, week 12 they face a 1-win Arizona Cardinals team. If the Arizona Cardinals can maybe just kind of dictate their own fortunes here, if they can take care of business that week, which they'll have Kyler Murray back in the fold by then. I mean, they put up 13 points today. Like,
they could possibly lose 3 in a row,
3 or 4 in a row because they got the Jags after that. I mean, that's looking a lot better, Johnny, as you said. Yeah, I mean, that's that. I don't know if that's primetime steakhouse, but you're eating good. You're going to be in striking distance of a top 10 pick.
Or maybe at Chili's right now. Outback.
Oh, I love Chili's.
Hey.
Honey Chipotle chicken crispers.
Oh,
I'm
not mad at that. I'm talking about their steaks.
Yeah, I mean, we mess with Chili's at the Venerable household. Absolutely.
I eat Chili's too.
That's right, man. Kids eat almost for free at that.
Dollar margaritas at Applebee's.
Oh, that's a little dicey. I think we're
Dollaritas, baby.
Dollaritas, baby.
Oh man. I'll tell you what. So we talk about cheap food here. How about some cheap sunglasses that are only cheap on price, Bo Brock, but quality? It's premium, elite quality with our friends, Bo, at Shady Rays.
Yeah, you're getting the best deal possible, even more so with using the promo code PHNX. Go to ShadyRays.com. Check out their full product line. And they have sunglasses that rival, that resemble some big name brands at some big time prices, but not with Shady Rays. You're getting a durable, quality, premium product for not a premium price. As Johnny pointed out, a very under $100 price point. And with that promo code, PHNX, you can save even more money. 2 or more pairs, you get 50% off with that promo code PHNX. Go to ShadyRays.com or even get in your car, drive up to Kierland Commons in North Scottsdale, buy them from their store, Shady Rays, up there in Kierland. Look at them yourself, test them out, put them on your face, and then look how good you look. And then just tell the sales associate PHNX, and they'll say, what? You say, that's my promo code, and they're going to take 50% off 2 or more pairs of those premium polarized sunglasses from Shady Rays. Find out why 250,000 people have rated them 5 stars online. ShadyRays.com, that promo code PHNX.
I had a buddies at the stadium today. They were struggling after the Dobbs second interception. They went to the Nectar of the Gods, and they got themselves some Wow Wheat 4 Peaks beer, the official brewery of PHNX. It's pumpkin porter season, fellas. Perfect place to be. How about the 4 Peaks Brewery Haunted Brewery Tour with a pumpkin porter in your hand, ready to rock and roll? Check them out, 4peaks.com/locator. They are a staple of Valley culture, is 4 Peaks. Absolutely love to see them, especially their Tempe location. Not only great beverages, gentlemen, appetizers, fantastic meals. We had our draft show last spring, hoping to get back at 4 Peaks ASAP. But in the meantime, picking up a 12-pack of pumpkin porter on my way home so I can drown my sorrows and whatever the hell Joshua Dobbs did today. But again, check them out. You got to be 21 years and older. Drink 4 Peaks. Drink them responsibly. Of course, this postgame brought to you by our friends at 4 Peaks Brewery. Let's get to some more of our friends here in the chat via Super Chats. Sports Hero, $2. Florio is somewhere grinning at the Cards' misery. Bo, I hate to say this. I think this week is going to be the hardest week to endure with the Kyler narrative, sitting, tanking narrative that's surrounding this team. And frankly, the Cardinals only have themselves to blame.
You know what? I don't feel that at all. I mean, I know what's going to come and how they're going to be criticized for this. But when you make an investment of $230.5 million, and it seems like there's a bunch of confidence from the general manager's office to the head coach, the coaching staff, and the roster, of course, the guys in the locker room believe in Kyler Murray, that this is the plan. This has been the plan all along. And, to divert from that would be showing maybe signs of panic. And this is a non-panic organization going forward. They're not going to have their hand pushed just because, they're struggling and then they've had poor quarterback play. They want their plan for Kyler Murray, that they have a big-time investment in, and whether it's, him being here or them trading him. It doesn't do them any good to divert just because they've played poorly the last couple of weeks. It just doesn't. I mean, they'll continue to take their licks from idiots like Florio and other people that want to point to it as an egregious tank job. But this is a guy that's coming off the most serious injury of his career, and they want to be 100% physically and mentally, and they don't feel like he's there yet, and they endure one more week, and then it's go time for K1.
Go time here with Sam in the chat. I'll pose this to you, BG999. Thank you so much, Sam. Went digital. Although some bad calls, it's clear to see the decline of Dobbs is correlated with the negativity surrounding Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator. I think is 100% more on Dobbs than on Petzing. What say you?
I agree. I agree. I think no matter that, Petzing may have he's definitely put some bad play calls in there. Yeah. I mean, the 2-point conversion was atrocious. There's been a lot of bad play calls that are put in there. But at the same time, play call or not, you still got to execute the play calls that are good. And I feel like there's times where we are not executing. Dobbs is not executing easy throws. Today was a slant route.
Yeah.
A slant route that sailed 10 yards over Michael Wilson's head. And it was just right into the chest of a defensive back, right? And then the second pick was a rollout pass that should not have been thrown. So I agree with you on that. I feel like regardless of some of the calls that are questionable, a lot of this is on Dobbs. You've got to make throws. You're an NFL starting quarterback right now. You have to make the easy throws, which is in turn scaring you away from those deep ball throws.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Milwaukee Braves, another super chat. Thank you so much. Milwaukee Braves, $4.99. Crazy the drop-off from last year to this year with Marco Wilson. He's getting burnt weekly, now looking like a liability on the field. Bo, I saw that they had removed Marco Wilson, albeit for one possession or two defensively. Mm-hmm. I mean, is it just the case of they don't have the bodies at cornerback? They're kind of forced to play him. Obviously, we didn't really touch on Keitrell Clark, inactive, healthy scratch this week. Yeah. That position group's kind of a hot mess right now.
Yeah, I mean, Gannon was asked about Keitrell being a healthy scratch today, and he said that, he's going to play some downs going forward for this organization. And I think, Wilson's in a tough spot to where, I'm sure he's on par with a lot of the other corners right now, but he's also a guy from the previous regime. And he's probably out there taking some lumps, just for that fact. Is he a guy that they're going to move forward with, or are they just going to let him kind of take his hit after hit after hit and then move off of him after the season? I mean, I don't see it as somebody they're just trying to knock him down to build him back up. And then they finally had enough and finally pulled him from the game, and we'll see what his snap load was once it's revealed tomorrow. But once he did leave, I mean, you did see some success from the secondary. I thought outside, obviously, there were still some struggles there, but inside, I really liked the trio of Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson, and Garrett Williams that started this game. I really did. I thought that I was watching Garrett closely, and I thought that he had played and covered very well in his second career game, and I'm sure, I don't know officially, but I'm sure his snap count went up from last week to this week.
More super chats here on a post-game show. Trevor, thank you so much. $1.99. Bidwell, gentlemen, feel pressure of the other Arizona teams doing well. I think so.
He should.
We felt that all week. The Diamondbacks are a revelation right now. They're a freight train from hell with home field advantage here in the Valley, and you love to see that. The Suns are co-title favorites, and then the Cardinals have won 2 home games in the past year and have trouble right now filling their stadium. We talked about it. It's a ghost town 2 days before Halloween, Bo. I mean, we haven't touched on it with you. Talk about the environment at State Farm Stadium with this fan base that right now thought they were getting something that they didn't get, which was Kyler Murray, and then having the rug pulled out from under them Friday, Saturday with another weekend of Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah, this was the most unenthusiastic, uninspired crowd I think I've ever seen during my tenure covering this team. And it dates back, back to the Cobb Wisenhunt days, speckled in there. But it's going to be rocking, I think, come the next home game, Week 10. And we'll have tickets available for that we're going to give away. It's going to have more than that. We're going to have a little Kyler a couple autographed items involved in that. And you're gonna want to win those tickets. It's gonna be electric atmosphere, and I think that's going to be when the tide obviously turns here. But yeah, it was a tough final game without Kyler Murray after all this encouraging, competing teams that were just fighting their ass off, and then I think fans had lost faith in that, and that they, have been watching a lot of sports from the World Series to the Suns opener this week, and they were probably just like, you know what, I don't have the appetite to go and watch losing football and watch bad quarterback play. So it's one. This is going to be the anomaly, I think, of the season, and then they'll probably start to get some Cardinals fans back in between the back in the seats in Week 10.
Brittan, do you think it's also the case the Cardinals, you touched on this earlier, just not a lot of star power on this team right now? Like, they've got, I think, some quality depth players. They had a hell of a draft. Free agency, they supplemented some talent because you're White and company. But, like, they don't have a Marvin Harrison Jr. yet. They don't have a cornerstone pass rusher, edge rusher. They don't have a CB1 Patrick Peterson-S type of player. Like, I think people want to come and watch winning football, but people want to see star players.
No, you do. And obviously you want to see winning football, especially as a fan of a team. But you got to think about it. Even when years, like the last couple years I was here, we were, 8-7-1 and 8-8. But we had Larry Fitzgerald's on the team. We had Buda Bakers. We had, Chandler Jones is on the team. We had Patrick Peterson's, Tyrann Matthews. We had star power. Even the last couple years, even though they haven't been crazy winning, they had J.J. Watts. They had guys like that who were elite star power, future Hall of Fame type players.
Yeah.
People want to come and see that, right? Even if you're not winning, I at least want to go see my favorite player play.
Right. Fitzgerald, you always used to be able to hang your hat on watching number 11.
Exactly. Whether you have a good team out there or not, when 11 was out there to play, something was going to happen that was going to make you want to come back and watch that football game.
Yeah.
So that I think it does. I think it falls into not having a lot of elite star power here. But at the same time, what the Super Chat was talking about, I feel like Bidwell has to start feeling some type of pressure because – you were doing this the last few years. You were going down, 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 and you're obviously losing fan base. But the Suns, the Diamondbacks are going straight up. And
they're likable teams too.
Very likable.
The Suns have immense star power, like maybe we've never seen before here in the Valley. And then the Diamondbacks, they got
budding star power.
Absolutely.
They got young guys showing up, and it's a team that shouldn't even made the playoffs this year.
You've got their manager taking a picture of the press conference room because there's so many people in there taking in and being very present in the moment, understanding what's at stake here. There's a relatability with the Diamondbacks that I think a lot of people obviously are climbing onto, which is absolutely you love to see that. And it's not like the Cardinals aren't relatable, but just again, they are a hard watch right now. As it goes into our last Super Chat here from Lil Dreezy13, it's like, Bo, how can you say you want to be competitive and play Joshua Dobbs? Now, we confirmed it earlier on this show before JG even said it, that the plan was always to play Dobbs ahead of Cleveland next week. It wasn't going to be Kyler Murray. Why Dobbs instead of like Clayton Tune? Is it just we're trying to see this thing through, we're trying to get to the end of the finish line, it would be unfair to Clayton Tune? Or is just Clayton Tune not, frankly, as good as Joshua Dobbs, and that's more of an indictment on the fifth rounder from Houston?
Yeah, not necessarily an indictment, just he's not ready. He's just not ready. And to ask of that, like, it was unfair. Cleveland did that to DTR, a guy who was picked one selection after Clayton Tune. It was an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. Like, who knows DTR might be damaged goods at this point. Well, I see more harm than good than sending Clayton Tune out there, especially against Myles Garrett in this Cleveland Browns defense. That would be a brutal move. You see it through. Everybody wants everything right now, right? This is the beginning of a rebuild. Let's not misdiagnose where they are right now. This is a team that had to just tear everything down, had to make up for a lot of bum moves made by the previous regime, and they're paying for it, right? But they're trending in the right direction going in the right direction, not trending in the right direction as far as organizationally taking their vitamins, eating their vegetables, doing all the things that they should to get themselves back in shape. And unfortunately, stripping everything down, this is a product of it. And like, people want to see winning football, and they want to see this team that's fighting their ass off be paid off in wins. And look, that's going to come at some point, right? But that's probably going to come with Kyler Murray back there. But like, we can't sit here and clamor for them to go and potentially ruin Clayton Tune just because we want to see, just because the grass is greener on the other side. We don't even know what's on that side of the door And I don't think Jonathan Gannon's in the business of, well, let's just go out there and see how it looks. Like they know that they can at least move the football a little bit with Joshua Dobbs. They've seen some successful things from him. He can get the balls to playmakers' hands at some points. He can do the things with his legs. He can extend plays. And I just don't think they have the confidence that Tune can do that. This, like we talk about the Diamondbacks, we talk about the Suns. The Suns had 10 years of futility. 10 fucking years.
I remember when the floor seats were $200.
And worse owner.
Bo Brock dropped an F-bomb in the press room, and they cut his internet. You love to see that.
But then, and you got the Diamondbacks that lost 110 games in 2021. I mean,
2 years ago.
It's not all butterflies and rainbows
but here's the problem,
a tough time for both those organizations.
Well, here's the problem with that, and I agree with you. Outside of the little flash in the pan season with Cliff Kingsbury, where they topped out at about 9-1 and limped into the postseason, this franchise has really not won anything until this man to my right and company went to the NFC Championship game circa 2015. They've had some middling seasons where they hovered around 500. Then they've had some rough seasons, like last year. So I think for Cardinal fans, it's not like, oh, yeah, we've had this great era, and now it's time to, tear it all down. We got old, blah, blah. I think, again, I agree with the method, but I disagree with the notion that, well, we got to endure these losses because it's part of the rebuild. And Cardinal fans have been enduring losses for a while now. Like, they have not won more than 2 home games in 12 months. That's a really rough look.
Dude, I completely understand. I've been here. I've had to watch that. I mean, it's like Clockwork Orange. I got my eyes peeled open watching this thing. It's brutal, right? But we got to stop blaming Monty and JG for the sins of their predecessors. I mean, and that's the biggest issue here. And like, I know people want to, they see it unfold in front of their very eyes, and they see the poor quarterback play from Joshua Dobbs, and they know that this team is better than a 1-7 record. They just have to be patient. They have to be, they have to just believe that this organization is doing the right thing. And they see Clayton Tune every day in practice. And I think Clayton Tune also probably isn't benefiting from a full amount of reps in practice any longer with the return of Kyler Murray. Like, is he getting enough work to where he even would come in and be at his best? And I think you just have to, it's one more game. I think that's all they're asking for is one more game. And I see Dylan, he's saying, look, rebuilds go faster than this. I mean, it's been half a season. Like I said, the 4-13 team, that's not on Monty Ossenfort's shoulders. That's not on Jonathan Gannon's shoulders. Unfortunately, shouldn't have to rebuild at this point, but that's where it is right now. And I think that you just have to see this thing through.
We're going to help you get through this season here at PHNX Cardinals. Check us out, go PHNX.com. Our beat reporter, PHNX Cardinals, Howard Balzer, who broke down some really insightful information earlier this week pertaining to Kyler Murray's injury designation. Become a diehard, 20% off all future events. We got 20% off the merchandise locker. Every year you're a diehard. Get a free hat and or shirt on us. Best place to be during this renaissance of Diamondback baseball and hopefully a title run this season, a special season for the Phoenix Suns and this rebuild, this pre-flight rebuild for the Arizona Cardinals and the impending return of Kyler Murray in just 2 weeks. All that more, go PHNX.com. I want to thank everybody today. Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass, brought to you by Four Peaks here on the postgame show. Had a tremendous time. Great crowd today. If you have not been out here to Gila River Resorts Wild Horse Pass, come out. It is a sight to behold. One of the nicest sports books I have ever seen personally. Vibes were immaculate. Food was fantastic. We're going to be back here in just 2 weeks' time. As my counterpart said, giveaways aplenty. We're BetMGM next weekend. Back here at Gila River in 2 weeks for the return of Kyler Murray. We're hoping, we're thinking, we know, in Week 10 against the Atlanta Falcons. But a lot to dissect in the meantime, gentlemen, where this team's picking in the draft. We've got a trade deadline that we're going to break down on Monday's show. Should the Cardinals make any moves? What's happening with Hollywood Brown? But in the meantime, like and subscribe. Like this video. Share it around. Subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. Follow him at Brack. He's the playmaker, Brittan Golden. I'm Johnny Venerable. Again, subscribe to the PHNX Cardinals podcast. Everybody be well. We'll see you on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.